Mhm. All right, welcome everyone. Going to give folks a few moments to join, and then we'll do a quick intro before we get started with today's course. All right, looks like we've got a good amount of folks hopping in. So welcome everyone today. We're going to be talking about retractable pool, spa, and patio enclosures. It's presented by the team at Pool and Spa Enclosures. We've got Alex on today who's going to be presenting our course. My name is Bo. I'm here with Acelab. We're helping out with hosting today's event. Before we get started with today's topic, I'm going to give you guys a quick little intro on Acelab, show you how to find today's presenters on Acelab. So if you have any follow-up questions, that's a great place to go after today's event. All right, and let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, so it might kick you off, Alex. All right. Everyone seeing my screen all right? Okay, cool.
Yes.
So everyone who signed up for today's webinar, you all have free Acelab accounts. You can head to acelabusa.com anytime. We'll throw some helpful links in the chat later today as well. You can search through a lot of our searchable product categories, but if you know exactly who you're looking for, you can always come up here to the search bar in the top and type in the name of any brand. Make sure you're selected on brands there. It'll cross-check between brands, product categories, or resources. Go over to brands and you can head over to the Pool and Spa Enclosures brand page on Acelab. You can click this button at the top if you want to get in touch with their team. You can also explore some more about their company here, watch a video, which I think we'll also be watching today, explore their products, save them to your projects. And all the way down at the bottom, we have some inspiration photos. You can check out their products in real life installations and applications. So this is a great place to come to learn some more, get these products saved over to your projects on Acelab so you can remember them for future use and be able to easily access product data. All right, one other thing I want to touch on before we go ahead and get started is that we're currently releasing some new features for architects. So if you're interested in getting some early access to any of the features that we are launching, I'll launch a poll momentarily where you can let us know that. But today what I want to show you guys is our new schedules feature. So we already have a lot of this stuff on Acelab on your free accounts, but something that we currently have only for beta users is this schedules tool. This is going to be released to the general public later this fall. But if you want a chance to explore it a little bit early, as well as have a free demo session with our team to learn about how to use this for our projects, you can let us know today. We'll set up a quick 15-minute call and we'll get your firm library set up on Acelab for you. Basically, this works as a way to save product information in one place. You can have reps automatically loaded. And you can pull in any amount of data, whether that's data that's publicly available on Acelab, which you can see here with the Acelab tags, that's like automatically loaded in, or custom data. So if you want to assign custom statuses, tag it with which projects you've used it in, tag it by certain assemblies. This is a really great place to come and make sure that your firm's product information is all in a place where you can access it, you can collaborate on it, you can save notes to communicate back and forth, and you can easily get in touch with reps so that your communication is saved all along in the same place. All right, that's it for me. But if you want to learn some more about Acelab, you can go ahead and say yes to this poll, and we will set up a time for you to have a free demo. We'll help you get your firm library set up, get you early access to some of our newer tools. All right, and a few housekeeping items from me. Just want to encourage everyone to please ask questions to the Q&A throughout today's presentation. We should have some time to get to those live, but if we don't have time to get to your question live, we'll have a record of it. We can follow up with you after today's event. All right, that's it for me. Thank you everyone so much for coming out today. Thank you, Alex, for presenting today's course. Whenever you're ready, feel free to go ahead and share your screen again and get started.
All right. Okay. Thanks, Bo. All right. Again, I'm Alex Stonkus, CEO of Pool and Spa Enclosures. We are based here in New Jersey, but naturally we service the entire United States and Canada from this office. And I'll get into what I'm going to cover today is going to be a company overview. I'm going to talk about the retractable enclosures, give you some operations understanding there, the benefits, as well as different models that we have, the code compliance side, as well as some typical projects, and then we'll get into some Q&A. All right, let's jump into it. Pool Spa Enclosures is part of what I'll call the IPC team, the Interpool Cover Team. We are located and ship our enclosures to over 40 countries. With that said, we're one of the largest manufacturers in the world. Right now we're doing about 125 enclosures a week. We did over 6,000 enclosures last year. As I said, we're one of the largest manufacturers for telescopic enclosures in the world. We have enclosures in all 50 states as well. So, and again, a large, and we'll kind of get into that, which we'll see the different model sizes, pricing, and engineering that we do have. Our client base consists across the board. We have homeowners, from architects to landscape architects that we deal with across the country. We've done enclosures for hotels to restaurants to commercial buildings, home builders. We've done enclosures. Well, here we're based, as I said, in New Jersey. We've done enclosures for Con Edison, utility company who puts them over their holding tanks here in New York, to not one, but two enclosures to Google in Mountain View, California, who cut the roof out of their building and put our enclosures on, like a whole atrium that would open and close for their employees below. So again, lots of different applications, and we'll kind of dive into those as we go. So what's a retractable enclosure? Very simple. Think about it like a telescopic, where you can have, each one will slide under the next. So as we look at the video, you're going to see the top one is fully encompassed and closed over what is the pool, as well as the bottom photo, as the arrow shows, with the enclosure open. All the segments can open all to the right, can all open to the left, can open in the middle. And it doesn't matter whether it's a residential or commercial applications. And yes, we can do a fully, what I'll call non-retractable enclosure. But at the end of the day, people like to enjoy the open air environment with the retractable enclosure. From a benefit standpoint, I'm going to play, it's a quick video. Let me play this video to give you a little bit of understanding, and then I'll dive into it a little bit more. The benefits of our pool spa patio enclosures.
Welcome to our first educational video in a series on retractable pool, spa, and patio enclosures. Today, we'll take you on an exciting journey through the world of enclosures and show you why they're the perfect addition to your outdoor oasis. Yes, you can swim all year. We Pool and Spa Enclosures are headquartered in Monroe Township, New Jersey. Our passion for providing top-notch enclosures has led us to produce over 6,000 enclosures per year. That's about 125 enclosures every week. Our reach extends from coast to coast and around the world, making us your go-to experts for pool, spa, and patio enclosures. We have the knowledge and experience to provide the best product at a competitive price. We have done retractable roofs over restaurants, utility water holding tanks, dog runs, turtle habitats, and thousands of pools. If you can dream it, let us help you design and build it. Choosing the right enclosure for your pool, spa, or patio is crucial to make the most out of your outdoor space. Let's explore some of the benefits of our enclosures. First and foremost, embrace the joy of using your pool, spa, or patio area all year round, regardless of the weather outside. Remain shielded from the unpredictable elements Mother Nature throws our way. Be it scorching sun, heavy rain, strong winds, or even snowfall, your pool, spa, or patio area remains a comfortable haven for you and your loved ones. Did you know that enclosures contribute to improved energy efficiency and cost savings? Our enclosures harness the power of the sun through the greenhouse effect of polycarbonate that significantly reduce heating costs. Plus, the enclosure helps reduce the disparity between the pool water and outside air temperature, which results in decreased evaporation. Evaporation is the largest driver of heat loss in pools. Speaking of cost savings, an enclosure will significantly reduce the amount of chemicals needed to properly balance your water. By keeping leaves and debris acid rain, and other unwanted intrusions out, the need for chemicals is drastically reduced. When the ultraviolet rays of the sun hit your pool, chlorine is released as gas into the atmosphere. Amazingly, you can experience a 90% loss in chlorination in your pool on a bright sunny day in just a couple of hours. By reducing UV light, you reduce chlorine loss. Leaves, debris, and dirt can often ruin the pristine beauty of your pool or patio. But fear not. With an enclosure, your outdoor sanctuary stays clean and protected, saving you time and effort on maintenance. We offer a revolutionary triple flapping system between segments to help prevent intrusion of unwanted debris. An enclosure can act as a protective barrier, ensuring the safety of children and pets around the pool area. Our enclosures are fully lockable, so you can rest easy when there are younger children around. It also deters unwanted visitors, adding an extra layer of security to your property. Safety matters, and so does your skin. We use polycarbonate in our enclosures that offers UV protection, shielding you and your family from harmful sun rays while you enjoy your time outdoors under our retractable enclosures. And there you have it. Retractable pool, spa, and patio enclosures offer a wide array of benefits, from protecting you from the elements, reducing maintenance, to extending your swimming and outdoor living seasons. With pool and spa enclosures, you get top-quality products, unmatched expertise, and outstanding service, ensuring your outdoor space becomes your favorite retreat all year long. If you're ready to elevate your outdoor experience, contact us at Pool and Spa Enclosures today. Remember, with the right enclosure, the possibilities for outdoor fun are endless. Welcome to our...
Okay. All right. So just a quick overcap of the particular enclosures, and I'll get into a little bit more about the benefits and all that about the enclosure. But the enclosure itself, excuse me, as I mentioned, they're segments. So as the little PDF there that on the side there, or a diagram would show, is that each one is on its own individual track. So therefore, they're going to slide one under the other. You can get extended tracks to move the enclosure further off and away from your pool or deck area, patio, whether it be a restaurant and the like. But each segment basically has two pins, because what we take very seriously here is about wind loads and snow loads, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But each segment is locked down where you see the arrows by pins. We have a three-pin positioning, which means that there's a plate, as you see on the where the lock is. And that plate will actually, as the enclosure pin is all the way in the up position, it'll slide past that plate. If it's in the center position, it will slide and automatically lock into that spot where the enclosure is supposed to be locked down on a against high winds, and then just push that pin down into the ground, and then that would or through the track, and then that would prevent it against high winds. Our enclosures, from a standpoint, are all operated predominantly manual, although we do have a solar-powered system. But our enclosures, as we'll see in a little bit, video that would show somebody, a 4-year-old child opening up an enclosure that's about 25 feet wide and 9.5 feet high. But the enclosure in itself is fully lockable, so therefore, guards against unwanted entry. And then, keep in mind, as that last segment moves on either end, there is a end wall that's suspended from it. So that end wall will also slide with it. And a lot of folks, like you see in the slide there on the right-hand side, will keep that one section down there to use as a cabana. Again, as the video indicated, our polycarbonate is UV protected. So it gives you that comfort of being underneath to be protected from the outside elements. Here's a video to show you how easy it is to go ahead and operate our enclosures. Again, it's a 4-year-old child. Again, it's fully lockable, so he's under supervision to open and close the enclosure. here to get some royalty. All right, so again, that gives you the ease. Again, that enclosure is about 25 feet wide, 9.5 feet high, and 4-year-old weighing about 40 pounds. As you saw, could certainly open up the enclosure. Now, just getting into each one of these a little bit more. Our enclosures, a lot of folks will say, well, geez, here we are in, let's say, Memorial Day, I open up my pool, and Labor Day, I close my pool. Again, depending on what part of the country somebody's in, you're going to have longer seasons as well. But in general, what our enclosure will do is whether somebody wants to extend a season, certainly here in the Northeast where we're located, it's very simple to go ahead and open up your pool in March and then sit yourself where it's situated and shut your pool down in November, December, instead of using it for 3 months out of the year. You ultimately could close it for 3 months out of the year. Or if you want to, you can keep your pool pump running 24/7. And then what that would allow you to do is have the extended season to swim all year. The polycarbonate, likewise, is going to create that greenhouse effect to warm up inside. To give you a case in point, early in the year, in my pool enclosure, it was about 40 degrees outside, sunny. I was inside my enclosure, it was 75 degrees. And this sitting here in April. So just gives you that beautiful comfort to go in, sit inside. Also, see, the more disparity you have between the outside air temperature and the water temperature, the more evaporation you have. And about 90% of what is your evaporation is that disparity between that pool of water and so on. So by having the enclosure, you reduce the disparity between the outside air temperature and the water temperature, hence your evaporation. So therefore, you're saving not only on the heating cost of your pool, but also the water loss that you would be experiencing from the evaporation of the water. Chemical usage, our customers are telling us typically they're spending about 50% less in chemicals. Because one of the worst things for your pool is that sun who's burning your chlorine at the same time as having your pool exposed. What do? You get acid rain, you get leaves and debris, you're changing your balance, your pH, and so on. So having the enclosure would keep the outside elements out, hence reduce what is the chemical usage from that. The enclosure, again, is fully secured against unwanted entry. Every door automatically comes with a key lock, and all the segments automatically have the ability to go ahead and be locked by a pin. So therefore, it protects against unwanted entry. From that standpoint, we also have windows. Likewise, are going to have the what I'll call the key locks on them as well. Great. We have a number of properties throughout the U.S., whether it be commercial pool establishments that use our enclosures to teach swimming classes all year, or rental Airbnbs that use our enclosures, that they can rest assured that the property, the pool is fully secured and locked in off hours as well then. The enclosure, that polycarbonate, again, is UV protected. So you're blocking the harmful rays of what is the sun. So from that standpoint, and again, it's when you're underneath. I had a customer call me and said, they got sunburn. I said, what happened? They said, well, you said the enclosure was UV protected. And I said, yes, it is. And it turned out that, long story short, they weren't sitting under the enclosure. They got so excited, they're all sitting around and playing outside and swimming. So, but again, it's UV protection is under that enclosure to protect against the harmful rays of the sun. Now, with that said, it also protects the polycarbonate in itself from the harmful rays. You know, remember in the olden days when they had the, whether it was the bus stops or the telephone booths way back when, showing my age, but when they had those, you could see that they were whitening and yellowing, discoloring. Well, today we co-extrude all of our polycarbonate. Doesn't matter whether it's what polycarbonate we use, it's all co-extruded with UV protection to block the harmful rays. The maintenance, another factor that people, we hear all the time about, geez, my pool wasn't everything I expected it to be. My patio wasn't everything I expected it to be. My spa, my swim spa, the maintenance and having that. So all the leaves and debris that get in your pool and so on. You know, likewise, my enclosure, the only time I really open it is when we're using it. Other than that, keep it closed. I don't have to wake up in the morning and find out, like you see in the picture on the left-hand side, that a storm came by, blew all the leaves and debris in the pool, and you know, you want to get out, you want to enjoy your pool, you want to get out, you want to not kind of be a slave to the maintenance there side, that you can just go ahead and get out and enjoy the pool and not worry about the high maintenance that comes with owning a pool. As far as enclosures and models, the pool enclosures, we've got low height ones, medium and high enclosures. So they serve different purposes. We've got spa enclosures as well as patio. And from a size standpoint, length doesn't matter. The length of the particular enclosure, you know, whether you want it to be 20 feet or 200 feet, we can do that. What comes into play because of wind and snow load is going to be what is the free spanning width. So from that standpoint, we can get up to about 50 feet wide, the enclosures. We do some commercial ones that are on rooftops that have center supports, and we can certainly get, we've done them where they might be 200 by 200, but they've got center supports in there, and then there'll be, in a sense, retractable roofs. We have many options for our enclosures, everything from the standard sizes. We have some very popular models. The Universe model, Laguna model, which we'll see in a little bit, are our two most popular models. And we've got some standard, very popular standard sizes. And then we also do a combination where you can have different size particular models, atypical to be on different sizes. We'll see as well, we'll show you some nice photos where we can have enclosures that will not only butt to the side of a house, but have tunnels that can be from the gable end or from the side of the enclosure. And then we have different, we'll get into different polycarbonate choices, doors, whether it be all our doors, for the most part, we recommend sliding doors, although we can do a hinge door. We have accordion doors as well, lift up gates, which means that the gable end would actually lift up to slide the enclosure as well. So lots of various options. Again, being one of the largest manufacturers in the world, we've got our own facility. We've got about 600 people in our factory manufacturing. We've got a production teams as well as R&D that we're always coming out with new and improved ways of enclosures. All right, so from a low height enclosure, we've got several models. As you can see, the low height is for those folks who say, hey, I don't want to block the landscaping, but I want all the benefits. I want to be able to keep the leaves out of the pool, the acid rain, have the ability to get that greenhouse effect to warm up the water. So lots of options there. We can do them quite often. They're over small. Big thing today is plunge pools, smaller pools or lap pools. We're getting into a lot more lap pools that people are getting into, looking for something that is covering a 60, 70, 80 foot long lap pool so that they can go ahead, whether they want to swim all season or not get into their pool and not worry about the maintenance and the cleaning and so on. So again, the low height ones gives that capability. Still, with the exception of the Terra model, which you see on the bottom right-hand side, the Terra model, you cannot swim under. It's just too low. So that's, again, for those folks who just want to be able to get in and get the ability to get all the benefits of the enclosure versus whether it be the elegant model where you see father and son in there kind of sitting inside where you jump in a pool, or over a lap pool that you see the Imperial model that can go ahead and utilize that. Now, if you notice the Imperial model, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 segments there. Well, those segments are custom made, which gives us the ability to keep them in a reduced track width, because for every segment, there's going to be a track. So for every track, it just needs to get wider. So we can make them, we can custom make various different models in different sizes as well. Then we get into our medium height. So our medium height generally will get up to maximum height about 7.5 feet high. That gives the ability to go ahead and get in, get some entertainment space in the shallow end of the pool, let's say, or if it's a area where they want to have a chair, a table, they can get in, swim, exercise, get out. But it's not necessarily, it's given that ability to block what is the outside elements, but giving you that capability of being in and having some free movement, I'll call it, in the shallow end of the pool. And we get into our high height enclosures. Generally, these are from 7.5 to about 12 feet high. And I always tell people, why go any higher than 12 feet? Because as we know, hot air rises. So in the off season, you don't want all that hot air to be sitting up into the roof there. So from a standpoint, what you're looking at here is, let's say, the Laguna model, which I had mentioned before, is one of our most popular models. Reason being, it's good on because of the contour and shape of it, it's good for wind and snow loads versus the Oceanic High, which has a relatively flat roof. So not so good for wind and snow loads. But the high height enclosures gives you the capability of being able to get in, walk around the enclosure. We can custom make it where everything can open to the right, meaning all the segments can open to the left, or we can go ahead and open it up from the center. And we get into what we call our combination enclosures. As we see the Laguna plus Universe, simple kind of type of combination where somebody's got in this particular case, it was a 75-foot lap pool, but they didn't want to have a high enclosure over the entire thing. They wanted to be able to get in, have a spot where they can go ahead and throw down their towel, swim, exercise, get out, dry off, standing up, and go inside. So whether it be an L-shaped pool that you can see on the bottom left there, or a very interesting one that's got multiple combinations, meaning some entertainment space in the front, and then it's got where it's a higher section, it's got it's a spa, and then and then continued out is a lap pool. So again, different combination of different enclosures. And we get into what we call our atypical, which again, nobody in the industry is doing what we can do as far as different designs and layouts and different levels and all. So the Imperial model, they just had some bottom left there on the left-hand side, 2 different levels where we had to accommodate for the end face to be on, versus that Imperia in the middle. what they did was they built the walls, and then we have the Imperial model sitting on top. And then what we have is an atypical face that dropped all the way down to the side, to the bottom there with a door so that they can get access to get in and out. And then the Laguna models, again, atypical with, these are existing pools, our enclosures, whether the pool is existing, we can always certainly within the realm of what we do, find a way to cover it. We'd love to be involved in new construction because, you know, at the end of the day, we can plan out whether it's a pool, it's a deck, in all perfect harmony, and design the pool, the deck, and the enclosure to lay out properly for design functionality of how the enclosure would operate. Quite often it's, we get people that call us and say, oh, my pool's built or my deck's done, and then we have to retrofit it over what we did, which, as you can imagine, being part of the architectural world, it's a lot better to design something up front to know what's there and what's happening and what's going on with the particular layout of everything. Then we get into the spa enclosures. We have the Spa Dome Orlando, which is a dome shape. That's standard size on that is 13.5 feet in diameter. It's 7.5 feet high. We have the Spa Dome Orlando 5000, which is 5 meters, which is about 16 feet 5 inches in diameter. It's 8'10" high. So you just get to a larger, whether it be a spa or if somebody's looking for some extra entertainment space inside the enclosure, that certainly gives them the capability of doing it. Whether that's swim spa, as we see in the Laguna top left side there, which gives them the capability to get in, swim, exercise, get out. Then you get into the Oasis model. The Oasis model is typically one that the wall of a house or a wall will become what is the end face, that gabled end. And then from that standpoint, it could be a freestanding, and then we could add a face, and it could be a freestanding one out in the yard. But that's one where somebody could say, hey, I'm going to walk directly out of my house into my enclosure, whether it be for entertaining, whether it be for a restaurant. I mean, we have restaurants that purchase our enclosures because at the end of the day, you know, you can't smoke inside. So they buy them, put them outside, and they become, for lack of better words, a smoking lounge where people can go and go ahead and utilize that as a smoking area. The Corso entry, whether that one's on the side of a house, but it's they built a retaining wall. So our enclosure, we just adapted that to sit up on the wall. And again, as you see, it's partially open there to be retractable. A little swim spa there. And then the Imperial model on the bottom right, that's an above ground. They just built a deck around it, and we go ahead and engineered an enclosure to be there. So that would be sitting on their deck so that nice weather, they could slide it open, inclement weather, keep it closed, and certainly have the ability to swim all year. Our patio enclosures, from a standpoint, our Corso Premium model, which is very popular, most popular one, that and the entry model. But the Corso Premium model has more of an L shape. As you can see, it gives more of that vertical straight up wall versus the Corso entry model, which is more curved. So again, it comes down to preference of what people are looking for and desire and layout of a design. Again, they're all retractable. As you see, the Corso entry, we use our side wall of the house there to use partially, and then it came out and we built a what's called a partial face. And this way we could seal that off and close that up. So again, we do some pretty neat design based on what's going on with the structure of a home or a building or restaurant and the like. From a standpoint, we get quite often where somebody says, well, these are great, but I don't want to walk outside to get inside of an enclosure. Well, with that said, whether it's a tunnel, which on the top left there is the Universe tunnel. So what we have is they walk directly out of their house, open up a door, and go into their main enclosure. The one on the center there, the Laguna with the step-down tunnel, in this particular case, that pool level grade was about 3 feet lower than what is the house grade. What we did was we stepped our tracks there with the enclosure. What you don't see though, but there's a ramp inside. This person is handicapped. They want to get out, they want to enjoy the pool and entertain and swim, exercise, therapy and the like. So they come out of their house through the ramp and come down through there. The bottom left one, which shows the Laguna ceiling profile. Basically, what we end up doing here is we put a ceiling profile, which is, think about it like a gasket. That gasket is attached to the side of the wall, and the enclosure then just butts up to it. So it's not attached to it, which kind of gets away from a lot of towns and cities. Like you can't attach the enclosure. Well, we don't attach it; it's butted to the wall, and then you can slide the enclosure from that segment that's attached or that's butted to the wall and slide it completely away and have open air swimming through that capability as well. All right, so that's kind of the layout for our residential enclosures. A little bit about our commercial applications. We do them across the board, from restaurants to bars to banquet halls, universities. We've done in Hawaii over concession stands. We've done Navy ships, put our enclosures on to everything from turtle habitats, dog runs to, as I mentioned, the ability. We've got somebody who's very big into the telescopes, looking at the stars. We built in their conservatory a whole roof that would open up when they want to get access and use to see that. We've done them over the bottom right. I don't know how many folks there from Texas, but that's Riley's, which is in Austin, Texas. You know a lot of these, but not all of them. But it's held for. They have banquets there, parties, weddings, to yoga, as you see there. So all multi-purpose facility that gives them the capability of opening and closing that roof at will. The top right is a restaurant application where they have exclusive dining for various. We have our spa domes there. And again, they've got exclusive dining so that they can go ahead and get in and enjoy an atmosphere from that standpoint. All right, a little bit more commercial applications. The top left, that's Solutions in New Jersey, but again, I'll name some of these. But the that's a banquet facility hall. That's about, that particular one's about 35 feet wide and about 70 feet long. And that roof will completely open. So as they say, when they book somebody, they say, look, in nice weather, we can guarantee you we'll open up the roof. But if it's raining out or inclement weather, the roof is going to be closed. And no matter what, your event, wedding, will continue. So from that standpoint, they love it. Guests love it. The Corso Premium is a big one for restaurants, hotels, that you'll see in the middle there. Top right one is actually over the Laguna model, where you see them exercising in the water. That one's in Maine. It's over retirement community. That's about 35, it's about 40 feet wide, about 80 feet long. They keep for the residents that pool open 365 days a year out in Maine to go ahead and swim, exercise, and hold these classes. So lots of benefits for those type of applications to be able to utilize their facility throughout the year and have that benefit. Our material, we use aluminum. We have different profiles that we use the reason we use different profiles is really dictated by, in a large part, wind and snow loads. The wider the enclosure needs to be, just like construction, the wider span that you're going to do, the bigger the material needs to be. So we have different profiles that we use, and then number of beams and sections per those particular profiles. The profile colors, we have all 4 standard colors, which are the white, silver, charcoal, which is an anthracite. A lot of people don't know what anthracite is, so we kind of mix it in there with calling it charcoal. It's a nice metallic charcoal. And then we have an antique brown, which is very popular as well. The tracks themselves, depending on the model, can either be silver or bronze. They are anodized, so there's no issue with water or discoloration and whatnot. Polycarbonate, we use that polycarbonate, and again, that's 200 times stronger than glass, virtually unbreakable. It's UV protected. We use that if it's a full enclosure, that twin wall, which that twin wall is in itself is translucent, and being translucent is going to be obscured. I kind of equate it to the old showers where you can say, well, I can see somebody in there, but I can't necessarily make them out. But that twin wall is exactly that. That's got an air pocket in the middle. By having that air pocket in the middle, it creates that better thermal efficiency. So it's like having a double pane window. The olden days, we had a single pane window, and what we do, we just put a storm window on the outside. So somebody came along and said, let's make a window which got that air pocket in the middle and get you better thermal efficiency. So that's kind of the concept for the twin wall. And then we have the compact, which is the clear as glass polycarbonate. So that's another option for people as well. And then we also offer a smoked, which would be a tinted polycarbonate, or an embossed, which is completely, you can't see in or out of. From a compliance standpoint, we engineer our enclosures. We always want to know and need to know exactly where they're going. Based on where they're going is going to dictate whatever the required wind and snow loads are. And we engineer our enclosures based on the model, size to sustain required wind and snow loads throughout the United States, Canada as well. From a standpoint zoning, as long as the enclosure fits within the application of the property, whether it be a restaurant or residential, zoning is not a problem. We do have, for every one of our enclosures, we use an outside engineering firm, and we can get signed and sealed engineering drawings from a licensed engineer that certifies the enclosure based on the wind loads and snow loads. So that is available. As far as the access, accessory structure is what our enclosure is considered. So it's considered a non-permanent structure. So quite often on the residential sides, a permit is not even needed. If a town, a particular town, when you get into more of the city type towns, so to speak, they're going to require a permit. And again, we can provide all signed and sealed engineering drawings and the like. We've got a lot of certifications about who we are and our design and manufacturing and so on. All right, just getting a little bit more into the wind and snow loads. We do what is a static calculation report, which is about a 20-page report that will test all the points of our enclosure to make sure that it sustains required wind and snow loads. From that standpoint, that static calculation would be given to the licensed engineer, who would then certify that and provide signed and sealed drawings as well. Now, we talked about the wind side. Typically our enclosures are anywhere rated from 100 to 150, 160 mile an hour wind. So this way, we, as I said earlier, we take that very seriously about designing not only the best enclosures in the world, but certainly the best engineering enclosures. So with that said, we stop the uplift, as you see in the bottom left-hand side. That track, the track in itself is only a ½ inch high. It's slip resistant. It's very comfortable to walk on. So that track predominantly is going to be surface mounted. We don't encourage necessarily to be inlaid, although it can be. But if it's inlaid, it's below grade. And if that track is inlaid below grade, that means all the water and the leaves and debris and everything are going to go into the track. And then you've got to leave the ends open or build in a sense, a pit there so that you can go ahead and release the water to get out. That's going to run out through the end of the tracks. But as you see on the bottom left-hand side, that we're going to have L brackets that are going to be within the enclosure frame that's going to get interlocked into the track. And that's going to stop the uplift of the enclosure. And then the side-to-side movement, as we saw earlier, is going to be done by the pins themselves. That's going to stop that. We got a great warranty. With our warranty, we guarantee the polycarbonate for 15 years. It's not going to white and yellow discolor. And again, it's not prorated. Within 15 years, if there's a claim as far as the polycarbonate, we'll replace that at no charge. We guarantee what is the finish. We powder coat what is our profiles, the finished surface there. We guarantee it for 5 years. It's not going to peel or chip or discolor. What I'll call the static rigidity of the enclosure itself, we guarantee for 7 years, this being the structure of the enclosure, the integrity of itself. 3 years on what is going to be the locks and then the consumable parts like rubber and brushes for 2 years. So again, we've got a great warranty. We got nothing but happy customers who utilize our enclosures. The kind of typical project progression layout. If it's an existing pool, that's great. What is the pool size? If it's an existing patio, what is the patio size? And certainly if it's an existing spa program, what is that? So once we have that, we do a design drawing, which you'll see in the upper right-hand side, which kind of lays out, okay, here's how the enclosure, here's where your door is at, gives you some heights and understanding of width and length of the track and so on. And then you move to production, and then we move right to our assembly and install. Now, again, we do offer install across the United States in every application, whether it be for our pool, spas, patios, commercial or residential enclosures. All right, that's it. I would love to get some questions answered. Looks like I ran about close to 50 minutes. So, Bo, if we have any questions, I'd love to get those answered then.
Here we go. All right, sounds good. I'll just start off reading some out, and reminder to anyone in the audience, if you've got some questions, feel free to submit those to the Q&A now, and we should be able to get to some of those live. All right, first off, can you provide any clarity on typical lead times for standard models versus a custom design and how they might vary based on project complexity?
Sure. Well, I'll treat the project complexity in a tone of getting what is the design that we have. I mean, we've done enclosures where somebody's called up. I've had an architect call up today. She laid out the exact layout that they were looking for tomorrow, meaning typically next business day, we'll have a design drawing based on what you're looking for. Based off that design drawing, if that's a go, then we send you a sales order, we get a deposit, and we put you on our production schedule. Now, if it's a standard one, well, getting back a little bit, I mean, we have people who come back 6, 7, 8 years later and say, I'm ready. So, that's project, might have taken 8 years, but again, it's something that we can go ahead and as quick as, we got, as I said, we got over 600 people in the factory. We got design, we got drawing, people are going to lay out and do the drawings. So typical, as I said, next business day, we're getting that drawing back. If it's a standard model, we're generally about an 8-week delivery for delivery. And if it's one of the custom ones, it's going to be a little bit longer because And again, if you get into some of the very large commercial ones, just from a standpoint of kind of not from a design. A design is we move very quick. We always find that, hey, we got what we need. We'll get your drawing. If you sign off on that, we're good to go and we're running. But if it's a commercial one, typically we're about a 3-month delivery or so, just because it's just getting it through production. And then sometimes it's a matter of we have to special order profiles. So it might turn into 3 to 4 months as far as very large, commercial type enclosures that we do. So again, anywhere from 8 weeks to 4 months, depending on the application.
All right, awesome. Next up, could you tell us a bit about how these enclosures affect the acoustics of the enclosed space? And are there any solutions for noise reduction?
Sure, another great question. It's interesting. If you were to be outside and you've got noise going on, obviously you hear that. When you go inside the enclosure and you close that door, it's a world of difference. So the enclosure in itself, while it's not going to block out, even your house is not going to black out, or a restaurant, all the outside noise, it is going to help you significantly reduce what is that outside noise. So we have a lot of folks that are by, whether it's a restaurant by a highway or a residential by a busy road, the enclosure and the acoustics of what is the polycarbonate will absolutely help to reduce what is that noise level inside.
All right, awesome. Can the panels be motorized?
Yes. The enclosure itself is very simple to for one person. Our enclosures are designed for one person to open and close. We do offer a solar powered remote system. So what you have is you've got, in a sense, little engines that will run on, and battery packs that will run on the segment on each side. So it can be a solar powered remote system, and the solar power panel in itself will be sitting on top of what is the outside of the highest segment. So yes, that would be that function. We also offer, and this is more for whether it be our larger ones that are sitting up on a roof, because what you don't want to do is get up on a roof and open enclosure. So we do, for our larger commercial ones, we do an electric. It's a 220 volt system that will open and close the enclosure. Like the one that we did just recently, it was in Baltimore, and over, it was about 40 feet wide and about 80 feet long, and the entire roof would open and close. That one is an electric system because the solar power is not strong enough to operate, and that's something like that. So depending on the application, could be either solar or it could be electric. We do offer an electric 220 volt system to open and close the enclosures.
All right, awesome. Have you had any requests for greenhouse designs?
Yes. It's funny. I can't tell you how many people end up getting our enclosures, whether it's over a pool or spa or this or that. And part of that conversation is I want to put all my plants outside. I know my particular one. I'm here in New Jersey, so it gets pretty cold and in the off season here, and I'll take all my outside plants and I'll put them inside. And all of a sudden, I'm looking around, I got flowers growing, my plants inside. So yeah, the enclosure can absolutely be used as, and I'll be honest with you, it's an upscale, elegant greenhouse. It's not a greenhouse that you're going to buy from Home Depot. That's they are what they are. Ours are very elegant, and yes, we do have folks that use them as greenhouses. That whether in conjunction with another application or just get them to go ahead and have what they like is a very appealing look to their environment, and use our enclosures as that greenhouse.
Awesome. All right. Let's see. next up, how does your company handle any potential issues that could arise post-installation, such as warranty claims or maintenance needs?
Yeah, so on a warranty claim, very simple. If it's a issue that the polycarbonate, pictures tell 1,000 words. We've had folks who said, "Oh, I got a polycarbonate that's, I've had it for 7 years. It turned yellow on one panel." Well, it turns out we installed it upside down, and therefore, no problem. We'll schedule a time. We'll go at it, no cost, and we'll replace it no matter where they are in the country. Get that done. So as far as the maintenance, it's just a matter of contact us. Very simple. What's the problem? Send some photos. We take care of the problem. A case in point to kind of understand that is as many as enclosures as we do, we're an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If you go on to our Better Business Bureau, you will see 0 complaints about our company. And it's about, and I tell my staff, my people, it's about 2 things. 1, having the best enclosures in the world, and 2, having the best customer service in the world. And that's our people. So that's why, from the end of the day, that's how successful, and that's why we've grown to how we've been here. So as far as maintenance, it's really not much to do. You know what? A lot of it's common sense. When they mow your grass, as an example, if you have a pool enclosure, don't blow the grass clippings into the track. When they get done mowing my grass and they blow down the driveway, if there's some leaves, they'll just blow down the track and clean those out. Once a year, I'll actually, because I'm out in the middle of the woods and I get a lot of pollen and leaves and debris throughout the winter. So once a year, I'll just power wash my enclosure. It'll look as good as the day I got it. So that's from a maintenance standpoint. You can certainly power wash the enclosure. The wheels are all self-encased. The wheels we've never had to replace. There's nothing that's going to damage them or anything else. So from a maintenance standpoint, very simple. If you get some bird droppings on your enclosure, just hose them off. If that's not enough, you can power wash it and clean it off that way, or use a soft sponge and some Joy Palmolive and wipe it. And see, polycarbonate does not spot like glass spots. You don't want to take a squeegee to it or anything else, or your Windex or anything, because that's just not the material. So from a maintenance standpoint, you can power wash it. You can you blow it off with if you got any leaves on it, and it's good to go. So from a maintenance standpoint, it's very simple to go ahead and maintain our enclosure.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. All right, great. Well, it looks like that has wrapped up our questions for now, and we are just about at time, so perfect timing. Before we jump out for today, I just want to remind all of the attendees, there are some helpful links in the chat, so feel free to grab some of those before you head out. We've got the Pool and Spa Enclosures page on Acelab in there, so that's a great place to go if you want to explore some more about their products after today's webinar and get in touch with their team directly. Other than that, just want to thank everyone so much for coming out today. As you're leaving, there'll be a quick post-event survey. If you have a moment to fill that out, super helpful for us to get some of your feedback, and you can also drop any questions that you might have there as well. Alex, thank you so much for a really great, informative presentation.
My pleasure. It was a lot of information. Certainly the video is a great one to go back and watch, but love to hear from folks, whether it be commercial or residential application, and think of us out of the box as well, because we do if you go on our website, you'll see over 1,000 photos in our gallery. So love to hear from everybody out there.
Awesome. All right. Hope everyone has a great rest of their Tuesday. Thanks so much.
All right. Thank you.